Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my latest episode of my weekly watch roundup, running through all the things that I've watched, movies and TV, over the past week. Let's get right into it. No dilly-dally. Okay, so again, I'm going to go with films first, TV second. Now, only two films I've watched this week, I believe. Okay, the first film that I watched was the 1983 movie Alligator, which I picked up on 4K, imported from the United States, from Scream Factory. And I picked up Alligator 2 as well, but I've not watched that one. Alligator, yeah, from 1983. A film that I grew up with as a lad, a film that I used to have on VHS, never on DVD. And it's a film that I've looked for quite some time, actually, hoping that it would get a release, and lo and behold, it has just recently. So I was super ecstatic. The transfer was nice, and the film lived up to how I remembered it. I was a bit worried that going into it, it would be a bit rubbish. And to be honest, it's really, really good. Like I said, I haven't seen it for decades, and I thought it was a fantastic, fantastic film. Well worth watching if you like creature feature type of movies. A giant alligator in the sewers, what's not to love? Next up was a film called Dog. Alligator, dog, bit of a pattern there. Anyway, this is the Channing Tatum new movie where he's an army ranger and he has to take his buddy's dog across country to his buddy's funeral, who has subsequently died. And he was the dog handler for this particular animal. The dog's got problems, Channing Tatum's got problems. They've both been affected by war. They're both sort of shell-shocked and damaged with injuries, this sort of thing. The dog doesn't want to get near anyone. As the film progresses, obviously they build up relationship, they learn trust. Until the end of the film, you get to the both of them needing one another, essentially, to survive. They bring out the best in one another. Film's somewhat predictable. It's well directed. Channing Tatum's fantastic in it. But the film lacked something. I think it lacks an identity. It's not sure if it wants to be a comedy or a serious film. It's got tones of both in it, which is a bit unfortunate. This sort of story has been done better. But for a one-time watch, it was fine. Just there was something missing for me to sort of latch onto and say, this is a fabulous, fabulous film. I want to watch it again sometime. I want to own it. Neither of those two apply for this film, unfortunately. Now stepping into TV territory. Yes, so what have I been watching on the old goggle box? Let's find out. Okay, first up, there was a new episode of Family Guy. Fantastic. I love Family Guy. I can't remember anything about... No, that's it. Peter's neighbour, who was a lawyer, and Peter wants to take his neighbour to court, and he gets a lawyer to take his neighbour to court. It's a neighbour over the back, not either side, so it's not Joe or Quagmire, it's over the back. He wants to take this neighbour to court, so he hires this lawyer, a black guy, who turns out to be the guy opposite, so he's taking, you know. And anyway, and Peter's friends, Joe, Quagmire and Cleveland, end up liking this guy and all going with him, and Peter loses them as friends, and all this sort of nonsense. Good fun. I do love Family Guy. I know it's had its day, but that's more down to a bit of sort of familiarity more than anything else, more than the writing being bad, because it still has its moments. True, it's not as funny as it used to be, but it's still a quality show, something that I enjoy. Then we have Resident Alien episode 7, this episode being called Escape from New York. Yes, Harry the alien, he's in New York. He finds out about this other alien that's been there, that's dead, and ends up getting an egg from that alien. And you start heading into this territory of having a human alien hybrid situation, like these sort of programs tend to do. It's very cliche, isn't it? V done it, and loads subsequently since. I'm expecting this baby to pop out human looking, but have some sort of alien powers. We shall see. Then we had Star Trek Discovery episode 12. This episode they actually go in and start having talks with this alien race that's destroying everything. It's all done through light and all this sort of stuff and maths. A lot of people liked the episode, but I still feel that it was quite poorly written, quite slow. It did sort of touch on what Star Trek is, with sort of you know, first contact with new civilizations and learning about them and learning how to talk to them and all sort of thing. But episode 12 and everything that's come before this season has just been lackluster and boring. Yeah, so then we had Star Trek Picard episode 2. Wow, I loved this. I've done a review of it. I've done a review of all these actually, except Family Guy. But Star Trek Picard episode 2, fantastic. We got to see Q, got a fantastic meeting between Picard and Q, and then reality changed. You didn't know whether you was in the mirror universe or what. Turns out you're not in a mirror universe, but you are in an alternate timeline that's been created by a difference that Q has made in the past. Now in this alternate timeline, Picard is like this sort of general, this high up guy, military, who's conquered all these other worlds, and the Federation is the Confederation. So it's that mirror universe type of thing, and they hold these days where they slaughter people. They execute them, essentially, barbaric executions, and they're going to execute the Borg Queen, but they get this plan to travel back in time to find out what went wrong in time, and they have to take the Borg Queen with them. She ain't got no legs, she's just dangling. They have to take the Borg Queen with them, and they're going to slingshot themselves around the sun. Loads of nods to previous Star Trek series in things that are said and this sort of thing. General Sisko's mentioned, really good stuff. It was really enjoyable episode, and I'm looking forward to where this series is going, because season 1 of Picard was somewhat boring. There we go. And then we have Endgame. Yes, Endgame, starring Monica Morena Baccarin. Monica, where am I going with that name? Morena Baccarin. I had to think of her name for a minute there. Yeah, episode 3 of Endgame. This program has layers. Even its layers has layers. It's a good series. I'm more intrigued at seeing where it's going to go as opposed to the journey it's on at the moment. Because I don't see how... This isn't the bigger picture for the show, what we're getting at the moment. With Morena Baccarin locked in a cell and pulling all these strings of this stuff that's happening outside, all this plan that she's planned before she's got locked away, because that can't carry on forever. It becomes a bit ludicrous, but time will tell where this show goes. So yeah, so those were my watches for the week. Quite a short week really, in the sense that I haven't watched a lot, but there you go. Anyway, this is AJ, I'm shooting off, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care all, and goodbye.